I'm Melinda Crigger with True Point Bank. Cheering on local teams is a community tradition at True Point Bank. We are a local bank supporting our local schools, charities, and people. If you aren't banking locally, it's time to make the switch. Stop by one of our offices or visit us online at truepointbank.com. This football season, have pride in our local teams and bank local with True Point Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Brandon. Welcome to episode 4.7 After the Whistle. Tester MIA again. Big week of football. Couple of major upsets in high school football throughout the region. A couple of lopsided wins as well. We're going to talk about all of them on today's program. But first of all, Coach, as usual, how was your week?
It was great. I love driving that Yeller Coach.
Yellow Coach. I had a good week so far. I can't complain. Past week's been pretty good. Got some deer hunting in. I was gone for 5 or 6 days, so that was always fun.
And your wife and young'un didn't even know you was going till the day of.
Oh, well, that's what
they told me.
That's what they say, but I
said, Haley, your dad's gone. Said, yeah, he didn't tell us till today.
Well, you got to kind of keep things on the down low where or be able to pull it off. But we had a pretty good trip out in Mother Nature there, up in Bath County.
Imagine that, BELLACINO'S air conditioner don't work.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get straight to it. We're going to do last week's recap. We've got some games to talk about. And
we might miss a few because we don't know where to find most of them.
It's almost impossible.
People playing on Tuesdays, Sundays, Saturdays, Wednesdays.
Yeah,
basketball started.
Looks like a daggone Major League Baseball schedule.
Yeah.
There's games going on everywhere and all the time. And it is very difficult to keep up with who's played and who hasn't. But we're trying to do our best to stay on top of it, so please bear with us.
But we know who Union played this week.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Amen to that. We'll get into that one. Let's start out with a big one that probably determined the Cumberland District. At least puts the control in the winner's hands. Twin Springs 48, Eastside 33. Twin Springs on our tear right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Ryan Horn rushed for 318 yards on 36 carries, scored 4 touchdowns to lead the Titans to a big Cumberland District win.
And I think we picked Twin Springs to finish as champions this year.
Yeah,
last week.
Mid-season show, we picked them. It started out, though, it kind of looked like that things were going to be a little bit better for Eastside, but Twin Springs just exploded. Eastside returned the kickoff all the way back for a touchdown to get things cranked up, but after that it was, for the most part, all Twin Springs. These two teams, what's interesting about this game, they combined for 81 points, 50 first downs, 833 yards of total offense. 8 turnovers and 14 penalties. So you had a little bit of everything except defense in this game, and that's what it sounds like. All right, so congratulations to Coach Warner and company, who appears to be in the driver's seat and moving in the right direction. Up next, we had Galax 35, George Wythe nothing. Galax continues to roll. Very, very tough team.
And George Wythe just struggled to score any this year so far.
Yeah, well, the Tucker kid had 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for Galax. George Wythe, as you mentioned, defense has been pretty stout all year. It's been the most reliable part of their team. Their offense continues to struggle, as Coach mentioned. Galax is now sitting at 5-2. And they got touchdowns from 4 different players. So congrats to Galax on the big win. Richlands 49, Marion 14.
Big R.
Big R back in the win column. That puts them at 3-3. Dylan Brown had 91 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns.
The grandson of George Brown.
Yeah, that is right. Gavin Cox had 186 yards passing, 3 scores as well for the Blue Tornado. Marion just wasn't game. It was 42-0 at halftime. Marion somewhat outmanned in this. The Blues had 397 yards total offense. When you put up those kind of numbers, very difficult. You mentioned Brown a minute ago. You see old George running through town all the time.
That's right. Now his grandson's running on the field.
Well, 14, 13, and 31-yard touchdown romps in the first half alone. So that made things pretty tough for the Scarlet Hurricane, who drops. They've only got 1 win on the season there. So 49-14. That tartar sauce was spread pretty well thin over there for the Blues. Seemed like a little bit everybody got involved. Next, Chilhowie 21, Retreat 7. Big game here.
And closer, just the Roll Retreat scored in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then just couldn't get it back in the end zone. Looks like Chilhowie's still the team right now in the region to beat.
Yeah, Chilhowie continues the winning ways. I think they improved to 6-0, so they're still undefeated. The problem for Rural Retreat all night was the yellow flags on the field. 16 penalties. It's hard to overcome that. In spite of the fact that they're very well coached and they're going to give you everything they've got every night. Rural Retreat, you take away those penalties in a game against a team like Chilhowie, you can't have
shot if you don't have the penalties.
Penalties and turnovers as well. Really hurt them, and when you make those kinds of mistakes, your chances of winning close. That window just gets a little bit shorter. All right, another one, big win for Bland again. Thomas Walker. Over Bland, 50-20. Darren Gully had a heck of a game for the Pioneers, who are now 4-2 after starting out the season pretty rough way to go. He had 3 touchdown passes. Gully did. And he rushed for a score, and all of this came, for the most part, in the second quarter. Thomas Walker, 26 points in the second quarter. Tough blow for Bland there, and we got some news about them coming up a little bit later on in the show. 50-20, congratulations to Coach Johnson there. Bluefield all over Tazewell, 57-14.
Well, that's kind of shocking, the way Graham whipped up on Bluefield, and Bluefield comes to Tazewell, which, I know Bluefield was quarantined and COVID for a couple of weeks before they played Graham, but Tazewell had nothing for them.
Evidently not, and 6 different players from Bluefield got in the end zone. So they distributed the ball really well, spread it out, and just Tazewell not able to do anything with them. Ridgeview 50, John Battle 0. About what we expected. John Battle now 0-6. Ridgeview had a pretty solid game. Xander Boggs had 2 touchdowns. Kanan Hill also made things happen for the Wolf Pack. They actually hung, if you stop and think about this, 50 points is a lot of points. They did this, finished, they're now standing at 6-1, but 50 points, that's nothing. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well in the show. Do something to really impress us. Come on. 50.
That's right, 50.
All right, so Ridgeview with the big win over Battle. Next with Gate City, 28, Lee 14. Carson Jenkins had one heck of a night for Gate City. He was one of 3 or 4 running backs in the region that had close to 300 yards rushing and multiple touchdowns.
And that might have put Gate City in the playoffs. Don't they all make it? Don't they?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Everybody but one team? Because Abington's not
Abington's
in
not
AA, so
in that, right.
I think that might have put Gate City in.
Excuse me, COVID. All right. Jenkins had, the Jenkins kid, Carson Jenkins had 293 yards rushing on 39 carries and scored 3 times for the Blue Devils. All right. Let's see here. We got some more news for you here.
Mighty Wade.
Grundy, 48. J.I. Burton, 36. This was a big game.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it, and it looked like Grundy was on the way to just blowing them out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then next thing you know, Norton's down by 6 or down by 7 at one time.
Yeah. Well, you know, the last 2 or 3 times they've played, they've been pretty good ball games and rather high scoring affairs as well. Grundy improves 2 and 3 with the win. Ian Scammell with the big night for the waiver, 294 yards rushing. He's another one of them almost 300-yard rushing backs. Had 5 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions. Carried the ball 38 times.
2-point conversions come in handy at the end of a game.
Yeah, well, Grundy, I think, was, if I'm not mistaken, they were 6 for 6 on 2-point conversions.
And that's why they won by 12.
There you go, 12-point difference in the ball game. So don't think it don't matter. Burton drops to 0-7. What can we say? I don't know.
Like I said, no, we're not going to speculate. We don't. I mean,
yeah, it could be a myriad of things. I mean, it's hard to tell. It could be youth, could be COVID, could be injuries, could be a lot of things. But they showed that they could get to the edge on Grundy, was able to run the ball. And you know, I think Braden Dutton had 106 yards rushing. So not a bad game for him. That's probably a name we're going to hear a little bit later on. All right, big game in Southwest Virginia. One of the biggest games of the year so far, without a doubt. A lot of expectations from this. Graham 56, Virginia High 23.
that's pretty impressive right there against a team like Virginia High.
And Virginia High been hanging 50 and 60 on everybody. So first of all, hats off to Graham's defense for doing a heck of a job. And you know, if you listen to some of the interviews, post-game interviews, some of the players and even the coaches they felt like a lot of those touchdowns, at least the Graham players, are saying they were on us. We made mistakes. They shouldn't even have scored 23 points. Whatever it is, you got to give Virginia High credit for putting them on the board. But you know, if Graham really is that good, to where you eliminate a few mistakes here and there.
Well, it looks like the Palmer Patron is rolling right now.
Well, Xavier Turner Bradshaw, he's rolling right now without a doubt. He had 5 touchdowns on the night, so you stop and look at that. Big crowd at Mitchell Stadium. Both teams run undefeated. Graham comes out with a big win. A lot of speed on the football field there the other night. Just to give you
both sides.
Yeah, I'll give you a kind of a recap there. Graham was up 28-10 at the half. Stevie Thomas got his usual yardage for Virginia High, but not the way he usually gets it. He had 104 yards rushing. He had 159-yard touchdown run. That's a big chunk in one run. And here's a kid that's putting up really impressive numbers, so Graham must have put the lockdown on him. Virginia High will now go forward and play Chilhowie. That should be a really good football game to catch there.
Virginia High and Chilhowie, big game.
One of the better teams in 2A playing one of the better 1A squads. And then Graham's got to go and play Pulaski County. That's going to be a tough test for them. So congratulations to Graham. Continues to sit atop there, at least in my poll. Wise, this hurts. Wise 31, Union 7.
I told you they'd do that. Yeah, I said Wise would kill them.
All right. Tester's not here. I checked the Bellacino'S.
Tester, I was for it. I knew y'all was going to do that.
Okay, I checked the Bellacino'S menu, and they do not have crow on the menu. If they did, I would have ordered a plate of it and sat here and ate it in front of everyone. But after writing Wise off, now I'm starting to wonder if they're not one of the top 2 teams in the region. So
they're not.
So much can change in a short period of time. But Wise was all over this bunch. Matthew Boggs and another familiar name, Tyson Tester.
Matthew Boggs was doing it everywhere. Like Tyson was too. But boys, Boggs would come through. I mean, he was missing that first tackle and getting 3 and 4 yards of whack. And then if they did hold him, they throw to a guy named Tester.
Yeah.
Or they run a little reverse with him, and he scored a touchdown. But all in all, it was a perfect game for Wise Central Warriors, and it was an awful game for Union. I know, and the thing is, you can't say much. I know there's a lot of trash talking and this and that. Boys, they might face each other again.
Could very well.
I mean,
Well, Union,
it should be totally different.
It was a perfect storm, just like you said. All right,
that's right. Everything went right for Wise.
Yeah, Wise kept the ball almost the. I think both teams had 2 possessions.
I was watching it on TV and Channel 6 or on the local channel, and it popped up there at one time. Wise had the ball 26 minutes and 40 seconds to COVID to Union 6 minutes and 20-some seconds.
Pistol's putting his mask on. Go ahead.
That's right.
Yeah,
26 minutes to 6 minutes.
2 possessions each team, and then 26 to 6 in the first.
That's right.
The time of possession. You control. I don't know exactly what all Wise is running. I think they're still running some wing T stuff.
Oh, they was running the wing T all the way down the field. Yeah. They'd raise up and throw it every now and then, and go spread. But the wing T was getting 3 and 4 yards back. They did not get Wise behind the chains, and that's what you have to do against the wing T team like Wise. But Wise didn't allow them to do that. The men up front dominated the ball game.
Well, the game, even in spite of all of that, it was 10-7 at the half. Ricky Onate kicked the field goal. Tyson actually caught a 9-yard pass before halftime and made it 10-7. But the key to it was like you said, they were able to control the clock. But on the opposite side of it, Union had 4 turnovers, and Wise capitalized on all 4.
One time Lomax, one of the best running backs in the area by far, just had a bad game. He fumbled and really didn't get hit that hard. The guy just put the hand on the ball.
Yeah.
But it's one of them games. It doesn't matter Coach Turner. They were prepared to say it was just a bad game. Yeah. There's nothing nobody could do. Wise come out, played the perfect game, and dominated.
Union took the first possession, went down the field and scored. It looks like, boy, we're going to have another good one here. Well, it was a good game still, but not for Union. It was a good game for Wise. So could this be a turning point for Wise?
It could be.
Could be.
That could turn into a region final game for Wise.
All right, so that's a big win. All right.
If they play like that, it will be a region. They will play for the region championship.
All right. Well, I went from excluding them, and now you're putting them in it. All right.
If they play the way they did Friday.
Yeah. If they continue that performance. Honaker, 59. Hurley, 16. Aiden Lowe had 175 yards rushing. On 5, count them, 5 carries. 5 carries, 3 touchdowns for Honaker. That was the difference in the game. Peyton Hurley, however, for the Rebels, had 79 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. But, Hurley made the game interesting for the first 2 quarters. They were scrappy.
It was 9-8 at one time.
Yeah. But they Honaker had too many weapons for him, and the game got kind of out of the way. I understand they had a fundraiser after that.
Yeah, they after the game, there was I was told that they were a fundraiser. They had a sumo match at the end of the game. That's what I heard. I heard the coaches had a sumo match. I don't know any details yet. Haven't talked with anyone, but I heard that there was a sumo wrestling match at the end of that ball game.
Well, what about that? We'll find out.
Find out who won and how much money they made.
Sumo, them big.
Yeah, you got a buck bellies.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, what about that? Sumo fundraiser. Never know. All right. Well, that wraps up all of our scores for this week. On our recap, I'm sure we probably forgot something. If we did, we apologize. Do think Lebanon got a win. As a matter of fact,
they did.
Lebanon got a win. One missing that for we. I can't remember who they played.
Northwood.
Lebanon got a win against Northwood. Okay.
Yeah, but like I say, you can't find most of this stuff if they don't call it in, or if you can't, they play every day of the week. But congratulations to the Pioneers.
Yeah. All right, that concludes our recap. We'd like to thank the folks at Buchanan Therapy Services for that. Up next is our Peak Performer of the Week. And our Peak Performer of the Week is brought to you by True Point Bank. Our Peak Performance of the Week goes to Mr. Carson Jenkins of Gate City High School. Carson had 293 yards rushing on 39 carries and 3 touchdowns to lead Gate City into their 28-14 win over Lehigh, stopping Lehigh's 3-game winning streak. So congratulations to Carson Jenkins, our Peak Performer of the Week. All right, up next is Big Talk. Big Talk is brought to you by Southern Gap Outdoor Adventures, located in Southern Gap in Buchanan County. Coach, our Big Talk segment, we've got 2 or 3 things here. Just got an update here just a second ago from Pistol. It appears that Bland County's football season
has ended.
And the ending, or whatever it is, like I said, this is
It's street talk.
street talk as of right now, so we don't want to say it's for sure. But this isn't the first time that I've heard this rumor, but it may be. But the internal fighting amongst coaches appears to be
What they're saying is
it's
the
what, it's what we're hearing.
And this might doom them for. I mean, football might be gone now at Bland for good.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago they set it out. Their football program has folded for the rest of the season. That's what we're hearing
Breaking
right now.
news from Pistol.
Breaking news from Pistol. The Associated Pistol just sent us that message.
Hot off.
All right, so that's 2 teams now. We got Rye Cove, whose season ended because of unhealthy players. You've got Bland County, who potentially it appears has folded their season. And now we also find out today from the Goliath Gazette that Auburn has folded their season. So we now have 3 schools within our immediate area here who have folded their football programs during season. This is unprecedented. Nothing like this has ever happened.
But it goes back to say what we said 5 years ago. In 10, 15 years, there's only going to be a handful of football teams. Unless if we're playing 8-on-8 football or whatever they're going to try to put in, football is doomed.
It's going
the Little League programs everywhere around, not enough kids. And
I mean, when the Richlands youth program doesn't have half a dozen.
Honeacre's always had 60, 70 kids on the team.
Middle school program or anything. We're watching it. It's happening during our time here, and we're going to look back on these days and talk about it. But where were you when these 3 programs folded? And hopefully Rye Cove will be back next year. Hopefully Bland and Auburn both will be. But Rye Cove looks more optimistic. They have a lot of young players coming back. But this is the sad reality of what's happening. I attribute some of this to the fact that kids were quarantined and were at home.
And they liked it better than going out in the heat and sun and playing football.
And Coach Tester said it best when he talked about football. It's the last thing that's hard. It's really hard to play football, go to practice.
And it's a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
And sometimes it is boring on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday or when you get in the middle of the season because, you back up off of hitting, everything, it's just all repetition.
Yeah. And you could be sitting 0-6, 0-7 right now. It's hard to get motivated to go out and play. And we've got teams right now. Twin Valley's going to be looking at 3 weeks here. They're not going to get to play football games.
And you're lucky for kids like 3 weeks. So, they coming into practice here now. You try not to practice them too much because they'll be like, they don't have nothing to practice for.
Yeah. And you can burn them, I guess, in some ways out. So I don't know. This is a tough time for football throughout the region. Wish those teams best of luck, and hopefully we'll find out a little bit more about the Bland situation. Come back next week, talk about it. I want to mention this one real quick. Greenville 88, Sullivan East 0, and some people were giving Greenville some flack over this. But it's one of those situations where you need to know a little bit more about it. Greenville, 88-0. That's pretty bad. But Greenville only ran 25 offensive plays. They scored on 9 of those plays. Okay, they scored 13 touchdowns for the evening. 2 of ththose touchdowns were pick sixes. 2 of them were return punts. If the other team can't stop you,
there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do about it. You can't tell kids not to play hard.
They're running out of bounds. It's not fair.
And they had a reserve running back. I think he had 104, 105 yards rushing for Greenville. So it's not like Greenville had to, the pedal to the metal and was trying to do this to Sullivan East. But you hate it anytime you see it. And it's stuff like this that discourages kids from playing, and on top of injuries and other things. It's just this probably wasn't a good look for Sullivan East football. But nonetheless, it is the reality of the way things are. All right, that concludes our Big Talk segment brought to you by Southern Gap Outdoor Adventures. Up next, we have our BELLACINO'S Player of the Week from Grundy High School. Let's take a look at Mr. Ian Scammell. We'll be back right after this. Hey folks, we're here with Ian Scammell, Grundy High School. Grundy on a big win this week, 48-36 over J.I. Burton. Ian, you had 38 carries. That in itself is impressive. 294 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. Talk to us a little bit about the game. J.I. Burton wouldn't go away. They just kept coming back. How'd you guys manage to keep them at bay?
They just kept firing. I mean, their backs were great, and we couldn't stop them there for a while. But we talked to them, and I told them how bad we really wanted that game, and just to get a winning streak back going, and hopefully in the season make playoffs.
Yeah, it was a necessary win for you guys. You really need to win that. You guys are sitting at 2-3 right now. Is that right?
Yep.
And you got 4 big games left on the schedule. You got Wise Central. You got 2 BDD games. You got Twin Valley and Hurley left, and you got Patrick Henry, who also is a major player in the region right now. You guys need to get in the playoffs. That's naturally what you're trying to do. You take a look at those BDD games. There's a good possibility that if you can win those games, it'll put you guys in the playoffs. What do you think that you all have to do as a team to get there?
I mean, we just got to execute 100% every day of practice, and we know what's at stake, and we know what the goal we're shooting for is, and we're just hoping to get on a roll these next 2 games, get some confidence going in the season right now.
Well, running the ball, keeping your opponent on the sideline, keeping the offense off their offense off the field is key to what you guys do. And anytime one player has 38 carries in a game, that tells you that the team is committed to running the ball. You've got some other guys on the team running the ball. Who else is having some good games there?
We got Roberts and White. They're both doing extremely well. I mean, they get 5+ yards a carry most of the time. They're doing great.
All right. Well, another great performance. Like I said, 5 touchdowns, 294 yards rushing on 38 carries, not to mention 3 2-point conversions. Our BELLACINO'S Player of the Week, Mr. Ian Scammell from Grundy High School. Congratulations. Thanks. All right, welcome back to the show. Congratulations to Mr. Ian Scammell, our BELLACINO'S Player of the Week from Grundy High School. All right, Coach, here we go. It's time for our top 5 brought to you by the Patriot Outpost. I had some changes in mind. I hate to admit it, but you want me to start out?
Yeah, you just go ahead.
Okay, I'll start out with 1A. My 1A, number 5, I've got the Honaker Tigers coming in after their win against Hurley. Number 4, I've got Patrick Henry Rebels. Number 3, I've got the Twin Springs Titans moving in the right direction. And number 2, I've got the Holston Cavaliers sitting at 7-0 right now. And number 1, at 6-0, I've got Chilhowie Warriors. That's my top 5 in 1A.
All right, my 1A is Honaker Tigers at 5. They deserve it. They played in there. They battled. Number 4, I've got Twin Springs. I got Twin Springs there. Got Patrick Henry in front of them. Patrick Henry's been there. Be tough for a game there, but not saying Twin Springs don't deserve it, but Patrick Henry deserves it there. They're at number 3. I've got Chilhowie at number 2, and I've got Holston Cavaliers as my number 1 team in 1A.
All right, so that's a change. What made you change that? Anything in particular?
I don't know, just the gut.
Yeah.
And and when my gut is gut.
That might be a game we need to load up and go watch.
Maybe, especially if it's week 10.
Yeah. All right, 2A. Here's what I got. 2A, I've got the Virginia High Bearcats slide back to 5 with their loss to Graham. Number 4, I've got the Ridgeview Wolfpack. I still think it's one of the more dangerous teams in the region. Number 3, the Union Bears in Backpack. In spite of their loss, I think Union is still one of the top teams, and I think that wasn't the best performance. Number 2, this hurts me to say this after what I told Tester. I got the Wise Central Warriors sitting at number 2, and I've got the Graham G-Men sitting atop at number 1 in 2A. All right, Coach, what you got?
All right. My 2A, Virginia High at 5. Easy one. Ridgeview at 4, which, boys, my next 3 could finish anywhere from 4 to 1. But I've got Ridgeview at 4. At 3, I got the Y Central Warriors. Y Central Warriors. Still got to do a lot more. And number 2, I've got the Union Backpack Bears still at number 2.
Why's just beat them?
But we'll see.
Maybe if they get a backpack.
We'll see. Y's got to show me a little more. Got to show me a little more.
All right.
I mean, beating Union by 50 don't show me nothing.
Tester's going to die.
Don't show me nothing. Beating Union by 50 don't show me nothing. Union probably led. And at number 2, I've got the Union Backpack Bears. And at number 1, don't look like they will be beat. Palmer Patron, the G-Men.
G-Men, all right. So both of them pretty similar on our top 5 on 2A there. They just had Union and Wise flipped.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Good morning, America. I'm Charles.
That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
There is a major incident in Lower Manhattan.
We just got a report in that there's been some sort of explosion at...
Good evening, and we begin tonight with the monster hurricane and its deadly impact already. And tonight, up and down the East Coast,
I don't know why either. All right, it's that time each week when we try to stump the Crig. I have an envelope here, folks, that has been hermetically sealed and placed in a bank vault for the last week. It has been under the armed watch of private security, and it was delivered here just a short while ago in an armored truck. And as most of you know, they did change the format. They got tired of you answering all the questions. The powers that be, whomever they might be, the powers that be have now asked that you answer the question before I even read it, which is almost impossible, but so far you're doing really well with this. All right, well, I'm going to take it, I'll tell you what. I'll let you, if you need to touch this, hold it, feel it, anything. He cannot see through the paper, I assure you it is.
Say nothing.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Okay, folks, here it is.
Shoot, I got 3 answers. It went deep.
All right. Yeah, well, you got 3 questions, supposedly. Yep, 3 questions. All right. Let's take a look. First answer. What you got?
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Rub-a-dub-dub. Final answer.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Rub-a-dub-dub. What does a masseuse do to your dub-dub?
Rub-a-dub. See? Rub-a-dub-dub.
What is a dub-dub?
Could be anything.
Okay. All
Be
right.
that place in between the place. And
That's
could
it.
be.
We're good. We're good.
I don't know.
We're good. We're good. All right. So, what a masseuse does to your dub-dub. Rub-a-dub-dub. All right. Next answer. What do you have?
State Penn. State Penn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. State
Penn, like the
penitentiary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. State
like
Penn.
red onion.
State Penn. All right. State Penn. Where is the Penn State coaches reunion going to be held? At the State Penn.
Get it?
Yeah, I get that. That's pretty good. Penn State coaches reunion will be at State Penn.
But it could be in Sandusky, Ohio.
There you go. I'd say something's there in Sandusky right now. All right. And the last answer, is what?
Goliath.
Like the giant.
Like David versus Goliath.
Goliath. Okay. And the question is, what did David do when he got tired? Goliath?
That's it. Goliath.
Goliath down.
Goliath.
Goliath. I tell you what, man, you're pretty good at this stuff.
I study.
I'd hate to see it.
I do a lot of reading.
Bathroom walls don't count. All right, I wrote, they paint these walls to stop my pen, but the outhouse poet has struck again. You ever read that anywhere?
No.
Okay. Maybe you just haven't been to the right restroom yet.
Hey guys, I just wanted to check in this week to After the Whistle, check in with Brian Moore and Tom Crigger. Not been able to make it in the last few weeks, but I just called to check in and asked Brian Moore and Tom Crigger who they picked last week on the Central and Union game. Y'all get back to me and let me know how that went and how you pick went. I just was kind of curious because I know Brian Moore 2 weeks ago said Central was done. So I was just checking in, man. I'm actually on my way to practice now and I'm not going to make the show. So just want to check in and let y'all know I'll be back full swing next week. And just let me know how that pick went for you. Get back to me now. All right.
All right,
Restrooms
folks.
I go in's got a hole in the side of the wall. I always look in it. I don't know. I go to these bathrooms that got a hole in there and somebody talking on the other end.
No.
I put down there and I just can't see nothing.
Don't put anything in the hole. Just telling you. All right, folks. All right. Well, we failed once again to stump the Crig. With that, we're going to go straight on into our pigskin prognostications brought to you by Buchanan General Hospital. All right, Coach, you ready for the games this week?
I'm ready.
All right. Up first, we've got Bland County at
I take George Wythe.
Bland County's not going to be playing.
George Wythe.
George Wythe.
2-0.
Get the dub. Be interesting to see.
Hey, that would be a good game for Grundy to pick up.
It would be, excellent. Yes, it would be.
So any Grundy people out there looking, George Wythe will probably be looking for a game.
Yeah, that would be a really good matchup.
Great game.
It'd be good to watch. This is something to think about, though. Where these teams have folded, teams are going to have the option and have had the option to take the forfeit, okay, collect the points from the forfeit, which is going to be practically nothing. Bland County did have a couple wins under their belt, so some people would pick up some points with this. But or go play someone else and get that.
I just think
game.
it's for the kids.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I understand you're trying to make the playoffs, and it might hurt you if you play a game, but it's for the kids.
Yeah.
You play to win the game.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of people with the mindset, I'll just take the forfeit and then not play the extra
That's right.
game.
Or like in Grundy's case, no, we're not going to play. We're going to divide by 9 instead of 10.
And that could help them.
It could help them, but I mean, play the games if you can. George Wythe would be a good game.
Yeah, it would be. Excellent idea. Northwood at Rural Retreat.
Rural Retreat,
I think takes care of business there. I don't think we've got any problem with that. Rural Retreat is staring at 5-5, 6-4, something like that. Chilhowie at Virginia High. This ought to be a good one.
Shoot. And it's at Virginia High. Guys, I'm going with Virginia High.
I am too.
I mean, just the speed.
That's exactly what
I'm
thinking.
Like everybody keeps saying, Chilhowie they're down this year and this and that. We'll see if they're down.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Because if they're down at all, Virginia High speed, that's just going to be too much for Chilhowie. But won't be surprised if they're in the game at the end.
Well, Chilhowie can keep them off the field, keep their offense off the field. But Virginia High, coming off that big loss, is going to be hungry. So this could be a really good ball game. And it's at Virginia High. be nice to go out and grab something to eat and catch a good ball game. Honeacre at PH. This is a game that it won't determine if somebody's in the playoffs, but it'll determine what spot
they're in. I'm going with PH. I'm
with you on this one. I think PH is going.
I think Honeacre hangs in there, but I mean I haven't got any confirmation, but I know the quarterback from Honeacre went out.
Yep.
With some sort of injury. Don't have no idea what. Don't know if he's playing this week, but I'm assuming that he won't be 100%. If he does, I'm going to go with Patrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm taking PH. I think PH. I think Honeacre's going to be very well prepared for him as always. I think it's going to be a close ball game. I'm going to give PH the edge. Plus, it's at PH.
Yes.
All right, Holston at Lebanon.
Holston Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think this one is Holston
all day.
Hands down. Lebanon get that one win there under their belt, but I don't think they're going to get 2 in a row. Holston will improve to probably 8-0 on this. Tazewell at Marion.
The Bulldoggies, Bull Puppies.
I do think this game will be a little bit closer, but when I say closer, I'm talking 34-12, something like that. You don't think it'll be close? I'm going with Tazewell as well. I think they've just overall got a better team, but they got the speed and open space, and they played a little bit tougher schedule too. Graham at Pulaski.
Going with the G-men.
I'm going to take the G-men in this
Don't
one.
have no clue about Pulaski.
Do not know anything.
They could be 8-0 right now.
Coach Dixon up there.
I'm going with Pulaski.
You going with Pulaski? You going to change it?
That is right.
Yep.
You talk about the team going to be prepared.
Yeah.
No matter if they're 0-6, 1-6, 2-8. I'm going with Pulaski. I'm going with Coach Mark Dixon.
Well, I'm gonna drink the Patron here, and I'm gonna go with Graham. So you and I disagree on this one. Okay. Abingdon at Ridgeview. This will be a good one.
Great. 2 good quarterbacks. I might ride over there Friday just to watch the quarterback play. But I think Abingdon wins the ball game.
I think Abingdon has just a little bit more.
Won't be shocked if Ridgeview does win.
But I'm gonna go with Abingdon as well.
Over Ridgeview.
Game is at Ridgeview. I'll give them the nod on that one. Imagine that, Abingdon traveling back down into these hills. Remember years ago they used to come down in here to Grundy all the time to play.
That's right.
Now they are doing it again. Not quite as close, but still the same. Richlands at Union. I think this will be a good football game.
No.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Union big.
I think Union wins.
Lomax redeems himself this week, has a big game.
Okay.
I think Union, to me, Richlands is Sage Webb's what they got.
Yeah.
And that's what Union's going to prepare to stop and go make somebody else beat them. I mean, Sage kick return, punt return, offense.
I have a hard time believing
defense.
Union will lay an egg 2 weeks in a row.
Union wins the ball game.
I'm going with Union also in this one. Gate City at John Battle.
I'm going with Great City and House Right.
I think Gate City gets another win under the belt. John Battle drops to 0-7. Lehigh at Wise Central.
That's going to be a close one. That's going to be big letdown this week for Wise. I'd say I'm gonna go with Wise.
We'll pick Wise.
Close.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Wise in this one. Lehigh, after winning 3 in a row, going to drop 2 straight now. Castlewood, the Mustard Biscuit Brigade, traveling and playing Burton at Burton.
Boys, I'm going with Coach Cottle on the Raiders to get their first win this week. They had good success running the football against Grundy. I think that carries over this week.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to
go with Castlewood?
I'm going to go with Castlewood in this one. I think they turned the Taylor kid loose, and he gets his yards. Hope Castlewood can contain the edge on Burton. If they can't, Burton gets their first win. But I'm going to go out on a long shot here and give these boys something to maybe give them some motivation. And I'm going to pick Castlewood in this one. All right, Thomas Walker at Eastside. This should be a good game.
I'm going with Eastside.
Okay. Eastside played Twin Springs maybe a little bit better.
I'm going by how they played Twin Springs, and They score 33 points on them, and Twin Springs not a bad football team, moving the ball, which Nick and Thomas Walker's been scoring some points too. I think this is a high-scoring game, and Eastside squeaks it out.
Okay. I'm going with Eastside as well in this one. I think probably a difference of about 8 or 9 points. Next, in our final game and our game of the week, Hurley at Grundy.
Going with the Mighty Wave, just to keep the ball from you. You just don't have many offensive plays, and they just run and it's schoolhouse right, schoolhouse left. What do they call it? Used to
student body.
Student body right and student body left.
I think Grundy's got the edge in this one. It's just going to be hard to get the ball on offense if you're Hurley. Grundy's going to grind out the clock and keep the ball, and Hurley's going to get behind early. And
you can't have 3 and outs when you play them because you ain't going to have the ball much.
And I think Grundy will have the edge on in that one. So that's what we've got for this week. You have anything else?
I do not.
All right, folks. Well, hopefully next week the man himself, Mr. Tester, will be back with us.
With a championship. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that too. Yeah, that's exactly right. I forgot all about it. Good possibility that Coach Tester will be back here next week, and we'll get some insight from him about what's happening over there at Wise and his outlook on things as well. All right, until next time, I'm Coach Moore.
I'm Coach Crigger.
Reminding you that a man who stands on the toilet is high on pot. Good day.